Sales, you'll hear that sales is a numbers game. I've heard that a lot. I've heard that hundreds of times. I like to rephrase that and say sales is a specific numbers game. It really is, okay? So it basically starts off with a goal. You have to have an income goal. And what we want to do is we want to reverse engineer that goal, breaking it down to a daily activity. And if you do that activity, that one activity every single day for the entire year, that income goal, the big goal, will be achieved 100%. Okay. So it starts off with that goal in mind. We're going to track it backwards. Here's what you want to track. You want to track live answers, which is a contact. A contact, again, is anybody who picks up the phone. That's going to include wrong numbers or incorrect numbers. I always say if you call somebody and they say, "Welcome to Walmart," that's obviously a bad number. That's going to count as a contact. That way, there's no gray area with the definition of the what just took place. Okay. So what I would do is I like to keep it very, very simple. And I like to track my numbers in a notebook. And keep that notebook on my desk. And this notebook is only used for tracking numbers because it's also going to be a little bit of a journal that you'll use because you will need to go back in time to look at these numbers so that you can analyze them and figure out what you need to do on a daily basis, which will be changing all the time. Okay. When and if you do hire a coach or get a mentor, a lot of times they're going to want to know what you've been doing, but specifically what you've been doing. So if you have this journal over a period of time, it's going to help everybody involved so that you can reach that success that you're looking for. Okay. So very simple. I open up a notebook, open up to a new page. I put the today's date at the top of the page. I put the very specific time I'm starting. So if it's 8:15, don't put 8 o'clock. Make it very specific, okay? And then when you end, put down the exact time as well. Now, every time you make a contact, again, a live answer, just put a little vertical line on the paper. When you get five, just do the little horizontal slash and keep making those contacts, okay? Now, if you have a contact goal, you don't stop until you hit that contact goal. Now, some people are like, well, I want to get an appointment every day. I want to get a list, a listing appointment or a listing every day. And most people, almost everybody, does not need an appointment every day for sure. Okay. So once you hit your contact goal, you pretty much stop for the day if you wanted to. If you don't have a money-making activity throughout the day, I always suggest that, there's no bad time to prospect. And guess what? I'd be prospecting. Okay. The other thing I would track on that piece of paper is anytime I got a lead, I would probably just put their last name and a phone number so that later on I can go back and go through my dialer or my CRM and make some notes or update them because when you set an appointment while you're making a live call using the dialer, you're making some notes, but don't make a whole bunch of them. Just make some bullet point notes. You don't want to disrupt the pattern that you've created, and you just want to continue to make more calls. That way, you'll have it written down in your journal, and you can go back and update that and make notes. Same thing goes with an appointment. If I set an appointment, I put the person's last name. I put the phone number. So now in this journal, you have how many leads you've been getting, you know how many appointments you've been getting, and you know how many contacts you've been getting. And what you're going to do is track this every single day. Now, let's say 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, you get an appointment. When you get an appointment, stop right now. And then what you do is go back in that notebook and count up all the contacts that you've made until your previous appointment. And then you're going to update your average. And you keep doing this every time you get an appointment. And before you know it, the contact ratio to an appointment number becomes very, very accurate. And then congratulations, you have the perfect business plan. So that's how I would track numbers. And don't forget, every single week, we have two Zoom calls, right? We have a Zoom call twice a week. It's a mastermind call designed especially to help you guys tackle any real estate challenge, problem, strategy, best practices, tips. And we also have a Facebook group.